That and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The death toll from Haiti's cholera outbreak has soared past 900 after more than 3 weeks. Haiti's health ministry says some 14,600 people have been treated for symptoms in 6 of 10 of Haiti's provinces. The United Nations is appealing for over $160 million in new aid amidst warnings some 270,000 Haitians could fall ill in the coming years. Dr. Phuoc Ly of the group Partners in Health said clinics will be challenged if the disease spreads.
We're still seeing many patients, dozens of new patients every day. We still have dozens of patients who are very, very ill. But luckily, with the collaboration of between the ministry, our Cuban colleagues, and also Partners in Health, Zami La Santé, we have adequate staffing to take care of the patients currently. Of course, we don't know if there's going to be a surge in numbers, but right now, for the last few days, we've had staffing that's been adequate to take care of the large numbers of patients that we see.
The Obama administration's locked in a new public dispute with Afghan President Hamid Karzai following Karzai's latest criticism of the U.S.-led occupation. In an interview with the Washington Post, Karzai urged the U.S. to reduce military operations and end what he called, quote, terrible night raids on Afghan homes. Karzai added, quote, the raids are a problem always. They have to go away. President Karzai says the U.S. should shift from a military focus to civilian efforts in order to reduce its intrusiveness into daily Afghan life. U.S. officials said the top NATO commander in Afghanistan, General David Petraeus, expressed, quote, astonishment and disappointment with Karzai's remarks, which he said could make U.S. plans untenable. The row over Karzai's comments come just as the Obama administration prepares to announce it's extending a conditional deadline for withdrawing troops by 3 years to 2014. The New York Times reports the plan will be modeled after Iraq, with Afghan forces receiving nominal control in some areas within the next 2 years. As with the 2011 date, the 2014 deadline won't be binding and could be extended. In other Afghan war news, at least 7 NATO troops were killed in attacks Sunday, the deadliest day for the U.S.-led occupation force in a month. Burma's pro-democracy leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been freed after her latest confinement under house arrest expired. Suu Kyi has spent 15 of the last 21 years in detention. On Sunday, one day after release, she addressed thousands of supporters with a call to intensify Burma's pro-democracy struggle. Speaking to reporters after her speech, Suu Kyi stressed the importance of a grassroots movement. We'll have more on the release of Aung San Suu Kyi after headlines. Israel's cabinet is preparing to vote on a package of U.S. incentives to extend a West Bank settlement freeze and revive peace talks with the Palestinian Authority. The Obama administration's offered to give Israel 20 advanced F-35 warplanes worth around $3 billion and veto UN resolutions seeking Middle East peace. The veto pledge could be seen as a tacit endorsement of Israel's rejection of the two-state solution based on the 1967 borders, which has been regularly backed in UN votes. Israel would only have to suspend settlement construction for 90 days, and the freeze wouldn't apply to occupied East Jerusalem. The deal would also lead to a new bilateral security pact to strengthen U.S.-Israeli ties. The U.S. has also assured Israel it won't seek another extension after the freeze expires. Israel rejected a similar proposal last month, but is now said to be seriously considering the new offer. Israeli cabinet member Avishai Braverman called the deal a boon for Israel.
Somehow this week, the Prime Minister has to approve it, whatever form it takes, because this is such a great offer security-wise. But for the sake of the interest of Israel, I would say to the Prime Minister, extend the freeze even for 4 or 5 months.
The Palestinian Authority has refused to negotiate with Israel as long as settlement building continues. PA spokesperson Hassan Khatib said Palestinians fear the incentive deal would further undermine their rights.
We hope that the American efforts to convince Israel to stop this expansion of settlements in order to resume negotiations will work and succeed. However, we also hope that these guarantees will be compatible with the international legality and does not violate or infringe on any of the Palestinian rights guaranteed in the international legality.
The Washington Post is reporting the Obama administration has effectively abandoned plans to close the Guantanamo prison. Administration officials said they don't expect to secure congressional funding to close Guantanamo and transfer remaining prisoners to the United States. One official said, quote, Gitmo is going to remain open for the foreseeable future. The White House also says it expects Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the self-proclaimed mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, to remain jailed without trial indefinitely. The Supreme Court has refused to stop enforcement of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell law barring openly gay men and lesbians from the armed forces. On Friday, the court declined to intervene while a lower court considers a challenge that the ban's unconstitutional. Justice Elena Kagan also recused herself from the case, raising the likelihood of a 4-4 tie should the Supreme Court ever take it up. Kagan has previously criticized the ban and helped formulate the Obama administration's response to it during her stint as Solicitor General. The news comes as Cindy McCain has broken with her husband, Republican Senator John McCain, to criticize Don't Ask, Don't Tell. In a television ad against the bullying of gay and lesbian youth, Cindy McCain said the military ban has fueled homophobic attacks.
Our political and religious leaders tell LGBT youth that they have no future. They can't serve our country openly. Our government treats the LGBT community like second-class citizens.
Has led the Republican effort to prevent the repeal of the military ban. On Sunday, McCain insisted his wife supports his call for the military to conduct another review before seeking a repeal. Democratic leaders have reached a deal to avert a leadership fight after Republicans take control of the House next year. Under a deal brokered by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Congressmember James Clyburn will fill a new position of assistant leader under Minority Whip Steny Hoyer. Pelosi will stay on as minority leader. The Washington Post is reporting the Obama administration's offering to spend over $4 billion on the nuclear complex to advance an arms reduction treaty with Russia. The new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, or New START, calls for the U.S. and Russia to cut their deployed arsenals to 1,550 nuclear warheads and 700 missile silos and bombers each. Republicans have stalled the proposal in a bid to seek more nuclear funding. The $4 billion would come on top of the $10 billion the administration's already offered to upgrade nuclear facilities over the next decade. Arizona voters have narrowly approved a measure to legalize medical marijuana. After nearly 2 weeks, final tallying shows a measure to allow marijuana use for people with chronic or debilitating diseases passed by just over 4,300 votes. Arizona is the 15th state to approve medical marijuana. New details have been revealed on the U.S. government's dealings with top Nazis following the Second World War. A newly disclosed Justice Department report says the U.S. knowingly provided a safe haven to an unknown number of Nazi officials. The Nazi collaborators included Otto von Bolschwing, who helped plot the extermination of German Jewry and ended up working with the CIA. In a series of memos, the CIA debated what to do if von Bolschwing's past was revealed. And a new media study argues climate science was significantly underreported in the media's coverage of the Copenhagen Environmental Summit last year. According to Oxford University's Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism, less than 10% of articles written about the Copenhagen Summit focused on climate science. Much of the coverage instead focused on the so-called controversy surrounding the stolen emails from a British university that were hyped by global warming deniers. The study comes ahead of a follow-up summit in Mexico beginning later this month.